Hello and welcome to this video. This is the fourth video in the series Python Decorators, and in this video we are going to cover stacked decorators. Now we have already covered the basics of decorators, basics of how decorators work, how they function, how when they are executed, and so on and so forth. And in this video we are going to go ahead next. We are going to go next step and actually understand how these stacked decorators work. Well, what are stacked decorators? Let us see this comment here. So I have this function. This is just an example. I have this function which is actually decorated with 3 decorators. This is valid. You can do that. So this is the first decorator, this is second decorator, this is third decorator. Now, what is the sequence in which the evaluation happens? Which means, for example, let's say if we had just one decorator. In this case, we knew that our function is going to pass to the our function is going to pass to the first level, and first level is going to return us with another function which is going to get executed whenever we invoke our function. But in this case, when we have two more decorators, or even more than 3 decorators, more than 4 decorators you can have, so what will be the order of execution in this case? Well, order of execution is from the bottom, which means our function, so there it seems like there could be two ways. Our function can be passed to the third level first, and then whatever third level returns, it can be passed to the second level, and so on and so forth. But that's not the correct order. That's wrong order. Our function is actually going to be passed to this first level decorator. Whatever is returned by the first level, that is going to be passed to the second level, and whatever is returned by the second level, actually second level is also a decorator, so it's going to return a function. So whatever the function is going to return by the second level is going to go as an input to the third level decorator, and then third level is going to return the function which is finally going to get executed when we invoke our function myfunc. So I hope you understand that the order of execution is from bottom to top. If you haven't understood that, let's look at here. We know that our function gets passed to the decorator, and decorator returns a function. So this is how we can write this order of execution. So our function gets passed here to the first level decorator. Then first level decorator returns us the another function. Then that function will be passed to the second level decorator, and then second level decorator is going to return us another function, and which will act as a parameter and passed to the third level decorator. And whatever is returned by the third level decorator is going to get assigned to our function, and whenever you execute our function, it is going to hold reference to whatever was returned by the third decorator, and that is in turn will get executed whenever you invoke our function. Our function, by our function I mean this my function. So let us see that with a practical example if you didn't understand right now. So let us say that we have this string wrapper method. It doesn't make sense, but just for understanding's sake, just let us understand that we have this string wrapper method. I've just kept two level of decorators, uh, just so that easier and traceability becomes easy. It becomes easier to understand, and traceability becomes easier. So this string wrapper method, whenever you call it, it will return a function. It will return a string. That's all. So what you pass it an integer, and you pass it a string, integer nums and fruits. And the string that it forms, it is out of those passed parameters. So there are total number of nums, fruit. So which means if you pass it as 10 and oranges, it should return there are total number of 10 oranges, total 10 oranges. That's what it should return. Now our goal is that we have to add an HTML tag, which is p tag, to this string that we are going to get in return, and we are going to enclose it in p tag, and then the string that is going to get generated after we enclose the string in the p tags has to get enclosed in the div tag again. So that's what our entire like ultimate goal is. That's what output we expect. So for that, I'm using two decorators. First decorator is going to add the p tag, and then second decorator is going to add the div tag. So that's what it is called as. It is called as add p and add div. Now, as I said, that if you don't do this, what essentially we are doing is string wrapper equals to add div add p and string wrapper. Okay, it is showing. You can ignore this wording for now. I think my pylance is showing it. But what we are doing essentially is that we are evaluating the add p, which is this decorator first, and then whatever is returned by add p will be evaluated by add div. That's what we are doing it. Well, if this seems confusing, I think this should clear it. But similarly, if you want to represent in decorators, add p and then add div. So if you do this, this is what will get executed, and a string wrapper will have reference to whatever is returned by add div. So, and you saw that we are able to generate the output. Now, if we decorate it, let's execute, and it generates the same output. Well, there are two things that I would like to clarify here. We understood that, okay, our function is going to be passed that first decorator, which is nearest to our function, and then whatever that function returns will get passed to the next level of decorator, next decorator setting at next level. So what does add p returns? Add p will return this function, which means this function is going to be passed to your add div, and add div is going to return add div tags. So what does this mean? So there are two levels of two orders that we are trying to compute. The order in which decorators are going to get executed is from first it will be add p, and then second it will be add div. But the inner functions, the order in which inner functions will get executed will be first from add div and then followed by add p. Well, if you want to know how does that happen, so let me tell you this. Let me add this print statement. This is add div decorator. Okay, let me add this print statement tags. I'll call it as inner function, and similarly let me add it here. This is add p decorator, and this function I will add p inner function. Now let me execute this. You see the order in which it is executed. I said that decorators will be executed in the order from bottom to top, which means add p decorator will be executed first. That's what we see here. Add p decorator. Then add div decorator will be executed next. That's what we see here. Add div is next. So this is what it executes. But the order in which inner function executes is reverse. Add div tags inner function gets executed before this is add p inner function. Why does that happen? Well, before you actually invoke your function, let me comment this invocation and let me print this. This is how Python will assign that reference to our function, which means Python, as I said, decorators are executed at import time, which means you don't have to invoke your function explicitly to execute decorators. Rather, Python will do it before that, before you actually invoke your function. Python would have executed add p decorator, and whatever the function it returns, that Python would have passed to this add div decorator, and whatever add div will return would have been assigned to the string wrapper function. If you don't get that, let me show this string wrapper dot double underscore name. Let me print this. If you see, it refers to add div tags, which means it refers to whatever was returned by add div decorator, which is add div tags. This is the function that it returns, and our function actually points to this. Now, because our function points to that function, points to add div tags method, which is present in add div decorator, add div tags. Now, if you execute your function, it will start execution. It will actually execute add div tags method first. I hope it's making sense now. Now, if you invoke your function string wrapper, I think I already have this execution in the print statement. So if you execute this, okay, not this one. If you execute this, if you actually invoke your string wrapper function, which is actually pointing to add div tags method, add div tags will get executed first. That's why we see this print statement before add p inner function, add div tags inner function, add p tags inner function, or inner function, whatever I've written. So this will be executed after the add div tags. So what will happen actually? You would execute add div tags, and add div tags will call this function func. What was passed in add div decorator? What was passed in add div decorator? Function which was returned by add p. What was returned by add p? Add p tags was returned by add p. Add p tags would, this func will point to add p tags, right? This func will point to add p tags inner function. So this func, when gets executed here, will execute add p tags, which means then add div tags get executed, but it will stop here. It will actually invoke add p tags. So when add p tags get executed, it will actually finish. It will invoke this function func. What is this function func? This is your actual original function string wrapper. So your add p tags will actually execute your function func, which is pointing to your, okay, I'll write here as well. This func is pointing to string wrapper function. So this func is pointing to a string wrapper function, which means when this func is executed, your string wrapper function is invoked. I'm sorry if I'm using execution. I mean, when this function is invoked, your string wrapper function will be executed. So add p tags will execute. It will return this p enclosed string to where it was invoked here, if in the add div tags, and then add div tags will take that string with p tags, and it will enclose that string with p tags with div tags, and it will return this string as a result here to the print statement, or you can capture it as in a result variable and do whatever you have to do with it. Okay, so I hope that I was able to explain the order in which the stacked decorators get evaluated, and the order of execution, and order in which the decorators get executed, and then order in which the inner function gets executed. Actually, the top level inner function will call the inner function just below it, and then that function will call inner function just below it, and that way it forms the stack, and then the bottommost inner function gets called your actual function. Your function returns the result, and your result travels. It gets modified at each stage, and then it travels back and then gets returned. And I hope I was able to explain you that. If you are having any doubt, please leave a comment. I will definitely respond you. I will do everything to make you understand this particular stack decorator topic. With that, I will close the video, and I hope to see you in the next one. And if you like the video, please share it, like it, subscribe to my channel. I'll keep posting regularly such videos on my channel. So for now, thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.